You're here.
I don't have my coffee.
Welcome to God Doesn't Say That.
I don't know why I'm so tickled with it. Where we talk about lies.
They're on the, you got it.
Okay, so welcome to God Doesn't Say That, where we talk about lies that we have believed.
Like acting like you have coffee when you really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Or are believing, and replace them with God's truths.
That's right. But before we hop in, we would love it if you guys would go ahead and like this video and hit that subscribe button so that you can continue to explore faith with us here at Lane of Roses.
Yep.
God's word tells us that we can take every thought captive and make it obey Christ. But what does that even mean?
It means we can take a lie and say, that's a lie. God doesn't say that. And replace it with God's truth. This process of uprooting lies and replacing them with God's truth will renew our minds, and it will guide us in seeing God and ourselves accurately.
That's right. So Rebecca, what is a lie that you have believed or are currently believing right now?
Yeah, so a lie that I constantly struggle with and really struggled a lot with when God first called me to ministry and then to Lane of Roses was just kind of feeling unqualified. Like I went to school to be a teacher. I felt extremely qualified to do that because I had been trained. I got a degree in it. And then God he didn't call me to that. He called me to something different. At first I was in children's ministry, and then eventually he led me to leading a women's ministry, Lane of Roses. And I struggled with that feeling of just, I'm not trained for this.
I didn't go to school for this.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know how to turn a computer on, and God led me to start an online ministry. So I had to borrow my husband's giant suitcase of a Toshiba, and I had to have like somebody show me how to turn it on. So God can use us. He makes us qualified. We're not qualified on our own, but through him we're qualified to do anything, because Philippians 4:13 says that through him we can do anything. So yeah, it's just true. Like God equips us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, God doesn't say that.
No.
That is not from him. So that is a lie. And the truth is that God doesn't. He doesn't always call the qualified. And I know it's kind of cheesy. People say that, but he doesn't. He doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And so he called me to something that it was really scary for me to even consider it, because in our world, it tells us you need to be trained and have credentials, and sometimes, obviously, to be a doctor or a nurse.
I definitely
that is
want
very
my
important.
brain surgeon to have some.
Right. But there are some things God calls us to that, it doesn't necessarily require the things that the world will convince us that we need.
Yeah.
And that was definitely the situation I was in. And he was just saying, I'm going to take care of all the things that you feel like you're not equipped for. Like I am fully equipped, and you just have to trust me and walk with me. And so I learned a lot. It was extremely humbling. And there's, this isn't new. Like there are characters in the Bible that also struggled with this feeling. You have Moses, and this, if you go to the book of Exodus and you read the story of Moses, when God first called him to lead the Egyptians out of the Israelites out of Egypt and out of slavery, Moses was like, you got the wrong guy. I'm so bad at speaking. There's no way I can do this. And God was not going to let Moses off the hook. So he said, okay, fine. I'll send your brother Aaron with you, and he can do all the big talking, but I've called you to do this, and I'm going to equip you to do it. And so Moses didn't get an out just because he was afraid. And then we see in Jeremiah,
He got equipped. Yeah.
God equipped him. And Moses is an awesome character in the Bible. If you want to go check out his story and just all the things that God did through him, and just through him really knowing God and understanding God's character, how easy it was to be faithful to God because God was so faithful to him. It's a really cool story.
So I think that's you.
Oh, it is me. So what lies are you believing? Write them down, and next to each one, write the truth of what God says. If you need help finding the truth to combat these lies, go check out the Lane of Roses app and download the app. And you can look at different emotions or seasons of life and find the truths that will combat the lies that you are struggling with. So find a verse to remind you of what's true, which is you are adequate, for what God has called you to do.
And remember that through Jesus, we can uproot those lies. So sometimes they feel really, really deep, but you can ask for help. And sometimes He uses other people too, but you can uproot those lies and replace them with God's truth. So have somebody in your life that can say, hey, that's a lie. Now tell me the truth. And that really is just so freeing. And if you want to know more about that freeing relationship that we've been talking about with God, go to laneofroses.com/faith to start a relationship with God today. So this is Katie and Rebecca helping you remember who God says you are.
Be encouraged to overcome the lies of the world with God's truths this week. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching that video. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can continue to explore faith with Lane of Roses all week. And go ahead and check out our next video right over there.